thank you for joining me today. I'm Sandra at SandraR. My project for today is this poinsettia, and although I'm showing you this little advent ring, as a flower arranger it was inevitable that I was going to try to create something like this, because I do my Christmas decorations every year and I do a ring on my front door, so it was inevitable that I was going to try and recreate it with card and paper. So I wanted to show you this because I'm so pleased with it, over the moon in fact, and as we're now in Advent it's great for me to show you this now. So as you can see, I've just used this little ring. It's about 8 inches across, not very big, but I've got these little decorative lights. They're battery operated and there's 10 lights on them, and I've strapped it to the back of the ring with some tape, and then you switch it on and off here like this. But I wanted to show you how to make this poinsettia today, because I've had many trial runs at it and I've now got to the situation where I'm happy with the way it looks. I have used the leaflet framelit dies on this wreath because I know that they were sold as an autumn thing, but to me they suggest all sorts of times of the year to me, and I've cut them out using the glimmer paper and the gold foiled paper. So I'm pretty happy with this. I've also used the bobble trim and the piece from the, let me see, the Christmas Greetings Thinlits dies. You get 3 dies. One says peace, one says merry, and one says jolly, and it works with the stamp set that it matches. So I'm very happy with this, but I just wanted to show you today the poinsettia, because if I showed you how to put the whole ring together it would take far too long. So I'm going to now put this to one side, and I'm going to show you how to make the little poinsettia. I've already cut some out, but I'm going to show you, this is the poinsettia flower builder punch. You punch your leaves and your little stamens out using this punch. So I'll show you how it works. I've got some real red cardstock here. You put it in and you punch out, and you get all these shapes. You get a bigger leaf, medium leaf, and 2 little smaller leaves that are joined together, and this forms the stamen, which obviously you can cut in gold, silver or green, whatever colour you fancy your poinsettia to be. You could recreate the pink poinsettia if you wanted to. Any colours that you choose. I'm very much a traditionalist and I like to use the traditional red, gold and green colours. So you punch them out, and what you need is, you need 4 of the green ones to make a poinsettia, 4 of the larger red ones, 4 of the medium ones, and 2 of these smaller ones. So I've cut them out. I've shown you that's how you cut them out. So if you want, when you're working out how many leaves you need to perhaps put your paper into a strip so that you can go along and just catch in a leaf that you want, so that you're not punching out all of the same shapes and gathering up too many of the wrong shapes. So you work your way along and cut out your leaves and your little coloured ones. And I've used the Stampin' Right marker pens, and I've chosen the real red. There's also a green one called Old Olive in here too, for you to do the veining on the leaves with that. So what I've done is, using the real red, I've got my leaf here, and I hold this part down, and then I just do veining like that. Now there is a stamp set that goes with this flower builder punch, but I didn't buy the stamp set that matched it. I'd have loved to, but my order was so large that I had to cut it back to what my budget was. But this is the stamp set that matches it. It's called Reason for the Season, and that matches where you've got your leaves. You stamp them out and then you cut them out with the Festive Flower Builder punch. But because I haven't got that at the moment, would have loved it but haven't got it, I'm just going to do the veining freehand myself. So you just go along and you just do some veining, as you would see on a real poinsettia. If you look at a real poinsettia, this is what it has on it, the leaves, because they're not really flowers, they're just leaves. They have veining on them, and you're just really trying to recreate best you can what the real leaf would look like. So that's my leaves all done. Now I'm just going to plug in my glue gun, because I'm going to need that in a moment. So I'll just plug that in to get warm, because I've worked out that the easiest way to fit this together and to give it some dimension is to use the glue gun. I've tried the Tombow glue and it does work very well, but it doesn't give you that as much dimension. But it's up to you. If the Tombow is all you've got, there's no reason why you can't use that. But I'm showing you how I did it with the glue gun. So I've got the 1 1/4 inch scallop punch. You could use any smallish ringed punch that you've got in your cupboard if you didn't want to invest in this. But I've cut one out for my flowers to be built up on. That then gives you a nice flat base, so that when you want to stick it to a gift, a card, a bag, or indeed a wreath, you've got something on the back that you can, nice flat surface to stick it to. So we've got all our leaves and flowers. I mean, we've got all our leaves. What am I talking about? We've got our leaves, and in order to give my leaves a bit more dimension, I like to pull them in the middle and just give them a curl, because that's what true leaves look like in reality. So I'm just giving my leaves a bit of a curl. So I've got 4 of those done, and then I need 4 of the larger red ones and 4 medium ones, just give them a curl, 4 medium ones, and then 2 of these ones here, I just give them a bit of a pinch up, and you need 2 of those. And if you get all your leaves ready before you start using your glue gun, because once you start using your glue gun, you need to work fairly quickly. So, what have I done with that? Lost it again. There you are. Right. So, hopefully, my glue gun is now warm, hot enough. So, I start by putting about a pea-size amount of glue on my little circle, and then I push one side and one the other. and then I work on the opposite side until I've got my 4 leaves on there. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. So that's how you start with your leaves. And then what I found was the best thing to do was to put a little bit of glue on the back of each of the next layer. And this can get a bit stringy, but don't worry about the stringiness of it, because once it's dry you'll be able to pull it all off again. So we just work round with each one, little dab, as you can see, not too much, and it does get stringy and you think, oh, I'm all getting all stuck up here, but don't worry about it, just ignore it. Ignore it. And you can see that I've now gone in between the other leaves. Can you see that now, how I've built that up? So I've got 4 that way, and then I've gone with the other 4 the opposite to fill in the gap. So then we're working with the smaller one. So the same thing as you go around, and then you go in between your last one, like you did with the others. Whoops. Turn it round, I hope you can see that. And as you can see, you get all this stringiness, but just wrap it up every so often and chuck the stuff in the bin. Right, so carrying on. So, can you see how that's starting to look really pretty now? So now we finish with the last 2 smaller ones. Just give them a little pinch and put some glue right on that little middle part, like that. Can you see that? And then you just keep working round so that you're going in the opposite way all the time to fill in the little gaps that you've got, and that forms a pretty flower then. So last one in the middle, and push that down. And I think you'll agree that that's starting to look really good. So we now need to finish off with these little green stamens, because in the middle of poinsettias you have little green stamens, and on the ends you have little yellow stamens on the top. So in order to try and reproduce that, I'm going to put that in there. Now I am only using 1. You can use 2 if you want, and put that the opposite way. And you can see that on this little stamen, when you punch it punches out like that. But I have actually got some scissors. And I've just snipped up each one like that. Snipped up each little one, and then that just gives you can just pull them up if you want to, and raise them up and make them just try and make them look a bit more like a stamen than they do, like I've done here. So that's the flower done apart from the little yellow stamens. Now what we can do now is we can use some rhinestone jewels, which I have put in this one. As you can see, I've put little rhinestones. Now I have left them the colour that they are because I think they look pretty, but there are many ways you can do it. You normally get yellow stamens in the middle, so in order to recreate that, what you could do is you could get your rhinestones, and with a Sharpie, because this is a permanent marker, you can colour your Sharpie, what am I talking about? You can colour your rhinestone that yellow colour. Just keep going over it until you've got it the colour you want, the depth of colour you want. Let it dry for a few seconds and then pull those off. I've already done two and they're dry. Pull those off, and now you can just insert one in the middle. Hold that down so that it sticks. You can insert one, or you could insert 5 if you wanted to. I'm just going to insert one in the middle there today, just to show you the idea. Now I think you'll agree that that looks really nice, and once it starts to dry, you can just start pinching up your little leaves to just give them a little bit more depth, and to try and make them look like, well, it's a real poinsettia. Of course it's not, but I think that looks pretty good myself, and I'm very pleased with the way that's turned out. So you can colour them like that. Now I've got one here that I've put some glitter on. So if you wanted to put glitter on, you could put some glitter on. And that would look lovely on a little Christmas gift, wouldn't it? You've got your little flat back there to put some glue on, or whatever you want. You could even put some ribbon on there and tie that round your gift. If it's a box, tie that round. That would look really pretty. This is the smaller one, the smaller ones that I've made. I made those with 4 of the medium green leaves. Let me just show you what have I done with the punch. I used 4 of the medium green leaves to make the small one, 4 red ones, and then I used 2 of those ones in the middle there. So you get a different size, because when you're doing flower arranging, the rules are that you have large focal objects, which this is called my focal flower, and then these are the ones that are called fillers. They fill in the rest of it. And you can see that I've graded my sizes. I've got smaller roses, very much smaller roses, and I just think that looks really pretty. And this bobble trim ribbon that I've used here, I think that's lovely. Comes on a big roll. You get 4.6 metres, which is about 5 yards, and I think that looks really pretty on there. So that is my project for you for today. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you'll have a go at making one yourself, because this punch is so useful for so many little gifts. And as you can see, I've recreated a little Christmas ring here with it. So it has lots of opportunities, and I do believe in the new year that it's going to have another use, this punch. So you need to look out for that in the new year. Now I shall be back later on in the week with my beginners crafting part 2, and until then, happy Christmas.